Federal judge immediately rejected a defense request for a mistrial in the picking trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
To act on stage, don't rely on social media, put it down, turn it off, shut up, be quiet, learn, read.
Denzel Washington isn't the kind of man who throws shade just to gain clout. He's built his entire career on being respected, staying grounded, and only speaking out when something truly matters. So, when rumors began spreading that he had allegedly called out Oprah Winfrey for having close ties to Diddy not in a positive light, people stopped scrolling and started paying attention. This wasn't your typical Hollywood gossip. This was Denzel, a man who rarely involves himself in celebrity drama. So, if he's giving something the side eye, then something serious might really be happening behind the scenes. Let's rewind. For a moment, just a few months ago, Diddy was riding high-throwing extravagant parties, showing off luxury yachts and Maybachs, and surrounding himself with a glowing roster of celebrities. But all of that collapsed like a house of cards when a wave of lawsuits came crashing down on him. These weren't your everyday celebrity scandals. These were the kind of allegations that make your skin crawl: extortion, drugging women, trafficking, and even horrifying claims involving minors. Federal agents didn't hesitate. They raided his properties across multiple states, seizing boxes of evidence and confiscating footage so
I was
disturbing
publicly humiliated for 25 years, every week, exploited by the tabloids. Every time any comedian wanted to make fun or make a joke about it, they could make a joke about it. And I accepted it because I thought I deserved it.
Even the investigators were reportedly shaken by what they discovered. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, another unexpected name entered the conversation: Oprah Winfrey. Yes, that Oprah. The media mogul, the billionaire, the global life coach, known for preaching compassion, empowerment, and personal growth. So when whispers began that she might be somehow connected to Diddy, either protecting him or possibly involved in the same shady circles, it felt like finding out your favorite aunt was living a secret double life. And this is where Denzel Washington steps in. Behind the scenes, it's been said that he's been uneasy about Oprah for years, not because of petty industry drama, but due to the way she reportedly treats people, especially black women in Hollywood, once the cameras stop rolling. To the public, Oprah and Diddy might seem like two iconic figures who occasionally run into each other at red carpet events or awards shows, but their connection goes deeper than that. There are old photos, shared interviews, and numerous public appearances that prove their bond. They've laughed together, attended exclusive industry gatherings, and walked the same red carpets. Diddy even appeared on Oprah's show, opening up about his childhood and business ventures, while she listened with a glowing smile, nodding supportively. From the outside, it all seemed like mutual.
About the N-word? This is about the movie. I do remember. Yeah. She cut you off.
Right.
She edited out what you had to say.
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's what it came down to. That was the only time I was on Oprah.
Okay, and then
whether we get invited back or not.
Respect. But if what's being revealed now is true, then that bond between Oprah and Diddy might have been based on more than just admiration. And it doesn't end there. Oprah's connections in Hollywood have long been strategic. There's a pattern: she often aligns herself with people in power. And when their reputations collapse, she goes completely silent. Take Harvey Weinstein, for example. Oprah worked closely with him, praised him, and embraced him like family in public, even as quiet rumors about his abusive behavior began circulating. And when the scandal finally broke wide open, Oprah responded with a vague, polished speech about a watershed moment, carefully avoiding any direct names. Smooth, sure, but not exactly convincing. Then there's Taraji P. Henson. She nearly quit The Color Purple, a major film Oprah co-produced, because she was being severely underpaid. Sound familiar? Monique made similar claims years ago. In both situations, these weren't struggling actresses looking for charity, they were award-winning stars, simply demanding fair treatment and respect. And guess who's the common thread in these ongoing stories about pay inequality? Oprah, the same woman who publicly preaches about women's empowerment, yet is allegedly offering insultingly low pay to black actresses behind the scenes. That's
Harvey Weinstein. I know you posted on Facebook already, but you haven't kind of spoken yet publicly about what's going on.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining. And this is what I do know for sure. When something this major happens, when you have the fallout, 50 women coming forward, that it's a watershed moment.
That's the duality Denzel seems to be calling out. On the surface, Oprah is the queen of empathy. But peel back a few layers, and a different story starts to emerge, one filled with quiet gatekeeping, selective support, and calculated alliances. And now that Diddy is facing some of the darkest allegations in recent celebrity history, people are beginning to connect the dots between those alliances. Denzel isn't just making assumptions. He's reportedly pointing to a larger pattern, one that might be far more disturbing than anyone previously imagined. Monique's story isn't just old Hollywood drama. It's the smoking gun people keep circling back to when they question Oprah's true motives. Back in 2008, Monique sat down for an interview where she shared one of the most painful experiences of her life, being abused by her brother. It was raw, it was emotional, and it was deeply personal. What made it worse? She had already confided in Oprah about this trauma in private. So, imagine her shock when Oprah not only invited Monique's brother onto her show but also included Monique's estranged parents, all without giving her a heads up. That's not just tone deaf, that's betrayal disguised as empathy. That moment shattered the image for many people. Because if someone who built their brand on compassion could exploit another person's trauma for ratings, what else might she'd be capable of behind closed doors? Fast forward to now. Diddy's name is everywhere, not for his music or lavish lifestyle, but because of chilling accusations that sound like something out of a psychological thriller. Secret rooms, bizarre rituals, piles of and every week, the layers get darker. But what really rattled people was when his former bodyguard, Gene Deal, started speaking out. He didn't just mention Diddy, he brought Oprah into the mix. He claimed that Diddy was part of a powerful inner circle that included Oprah, Harvey Weinstein, and even Jeffrey Epstein. That's not the kind of guest list anyone wants to be on. Gene didn't sugarcoat it. He said these people didn't just cross paths, they operated as a unit. Parties, business dealings, and private gatherings that weren't always as innocent as they looked. And once he said it out loud, a lot of things started to click for people. The photos, the hugs, the silence when scandals erupted. Suddenly, the excuse that Oprah's just being professional started feeling flimsy. And it's not just former bodyguards or anonymous sources speaking up. A long list of celebrities have had awkward, even painful encounters with Oprah and her brand of storytelling. Take Ludacris, for example. When he appeared on her show in 2005 to promote the Oscar-winning film Crash, Oprah veered off course and criticized his lyrics, particularly his use of the N-word. Some viewers agreed with her, but behind the scenes, Ludacris later learned that every response he gave defending his work had been edited out. The criticism stayed in. His defense was cut. It made him appear guilty, passive, and defeated when that wasn't the truth. Then there's 50 Cent, who didn't hold back. He accused Oprah of pandering to white audiences while turning her back on the black community. He even called her an Oreo, black on the outside, white on the inside. Harsh words. But a surprising number of people agreed. Oprah has long spoken about healing and representation, but her actions sometimes suggest she's more concerned with pleasing powerful institutions than supporting her own people. Even Ice Cube had a similar experience. Despite decades of cultural impact in music, film, and even political activism, Oprah never gave him a platform. Not for Barbershop, not for Straight Outta Compton, and not even for his groundbreaking show Black, White. When he finally asked why, the answer was clear. His message didn't fit the story Oprah wanted to tell. At this point, it's hard to write all these incidents off as coincidence. There are too many examples, too many patterns. And now, with Denzel allegedly drawing attention to it all, people are starting to re-examine Oprah's empire, not just the glossy surface, but the shadows beneath it. Take Michael Jackson. He once welcomed Oprah into Neverland for one of the most iconic interviews in television history. He opened his home, his world, and trusted her with his story. For years, Oprah celebrated that moment, calling it a symbol of their deep connection. But everything changed after his death. Years later, Oprah hosted a televised special featuring two men who accused Michael of abuse, men who had previously testified under oath that nothing had happened. Too many. It felt like a betrayal. Like Oprah had capitalized on the controversy to boost her own brand, not to seek justice. Critics questioned her motives. Why now? Why so firmly take one side when the facts were still murky? And if her goal was truly justice and awareness, why didn't she show the same energy when it came to Harvey Weinstein? Why didn't she call out the men she was often photographed with, arm in arm on red carpets? Then came the story of John of God. On her show, Oprah praised him as a miraculous faith healer from Brazil. She promoted him as someone who helped people overcome pain and trauma. But later, it came out that he was no healer, he was a predator. He was accused of running a human trafficking operation, chaining up women, forcing them to have babies, and selling those babies on the black market. What did Oprah do when the truth exploded in the headlines? She quietly deleted every trace of him from her platforms. No statement, no apology, just vanished from the story. That's the pattern. Oprah throws her influence behind someone, and if they fall, she vanishes. But when the spotlight works in her favor, she's all in. And this wasn't a one-off mistake either. Remember her prestigious girls' school in South Africa? It made global headlines for all the right reasons till a staff member was arrested for abusing students in the dorms. Once again, Oprah stayed mostly silent. The transparency people expected never came. And again, questions followed. Is Oprah truly the voice of justice, or just a curator of her own carefully crafted image? The whispers turned into a roar when Seal, the Grammy-winning artist, posted a pointed message on Instagram. He directly accused Oprah of knowing about Weinstein's behavior for years but staying silent. The post went viral. Just 5 days later, Seal was hit with a battery charge, one that was eventually dropped. Still, the timing raised eyebrows. Too convenient, many said. Even comedian Cat Williams weighed in, known for speaking his mind. He accused Oprah of playing chess with people's reputations, silencing voices when they got too real or too honest. According to him, Oprah doesn't just run an empire, she protects it at all costs. Then came the fires in Maui. As the wildfires ravaged homes, Oprah's properties were left untouched. And rather than offering her own funds immediately to support victims, she launched a fundraising campaign, asking everyday people to donate. Meanwhile, she sat on millions in real estate. The backlash wasn't just about bad optics. It was about the message, protect your image, even while others suffer. So when someone like Denzel Washington allegedly starts questioning Oprah's integrity, people finally sit up and listen. Maybe it really is time to look beyond the brand. Maybe the truth about Oprah Winfrey has been hiding in plain sight all along.